Good people, it's another week, man. Y'all know who it is. PRMD. We're here. We're live. It's week 3. Um, we want to talk about a lot. A lot transpired. I think that it's a necessary conversation that we kind of get into uh, everything that has transpired, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. So y'all get in, bro. Y'all hit up the comment section. Y'all beat up the comment section real quick. Let me know who y'all are supporting, what school you with, what team you represent. Let me know all of that right now in the comments. We are about to get to having a little conversation. You know how we do it. But before we do all of that, we have to shout out our sponsor, All Around Extreme Handyman Services, owned and operated by Cedric Drake Hawkins. You can contact them at 321-501-0379. Once again, that's 321-501-0379. All Around Extreme Handyman Services, LLC, owned and operated by Cedric Drake Hawkins. All right, let's get to business. Let's talk business real quick. It was week 3 of Brevard County football this week. A lot of teams did a lot of things, and we're gonna sit here and we're gonna have a conversation about it. So make sure you tag a friend, tag 2 friends, tag 3 friends, tag as many people as you possibly can. Let them know that PRMD with Telly is on and we're talking football. So let's start off. Melbourne got the big victory 24-7 over Satellite. Melbourne has been impressing me as the season has been going on, because the reason why I'm impressed with Melbourne is because Billy had such low hopes for Melbourne, and Melbourne is constantly proving Billy wrong. If y'all don't know Billy, Billy is Billy Palmer. He's a alumni of Male High, and so he's invested in another level, and so they've been impressive as the season has gone on. So shout out to Coach Panucci and those guys at Male High. Also shout out to James Hines, because he's Male High alumni. My shocking game of the week, if there's any game that really just shocked me and had me surprised, I'm going to have to say it was Cocoa Beach beating Winter Springs. Now, historically, Winter Springs has been okay. But to my surprise, Cocoa Beach is putting something together. They're not afraid of competition. They are not afraid to play games, and they're winning games in a very, very decent fashion. So shout out to Cocoa Beach. Shout out to what Cocoa Beach is building over there. But I also want to say, I'm going to say this on here. Cocoa Beach, whoever runs the Twitter page about getting y'all games streamed on PRMD, because I feel like y'all need viewership, but nobody reached back out to me. So let's do it. That still is on the table. Let's make it happen. Shout out to Cocoa Beach for getting a big time dub. And I think they're turning things around over there on Beachside. So Palm Bay lost 35-0. Of course, we know that Coach Wilk, who used to coach at Cocoa, won multiple state championships at Cocoa, had a great tenure over at Cocoa. He's now in the district with Palm Bay. He's now in the district with Rockledge, and I think Rockledge is the only team, but they had Palm Bay on the schedule. And I thought that Palm Bay was going to put up a better game. I'm kind of disappointed in what happened with Palm Bay, but nevertheless, I really want to see Palm Bay shake back. But Coach Wilk put it together, and shout out to Coach Wilk, man. Them boys getting to it. He really does. He really does have some talent for the area, but a lot of from what I was told, a lot of the kids there either just go elsewhere. They at Spruce Creek, Mainland, but with what he's doing something with what he has. So shout out to Coach Wilt for getting the dub. Palm Bay, I really want to see y'all turning around. I really want to see them be salvaged. D-Land, that was an interesting game. They had played a hard-fought game with Merritt Island. The final score was 35-28. D-Land, I thought D-Land would get the win. I felt like Merritt Island would put up a fight, but ultimately D-Land was just the more talented team or well-coached team. I really try to be careful with my verbiage as it pertains to what happens in a game, just because I don't ever want coaches or players or people to feel like you're slighting them in any way. I don't think that Merritt Island is a bad team. I just think that the better team won that night. Rockledge was able to squeak out a dub against Vieira. I felt like I've told people that I'm not going to comment on Tyrone and his team, give a full analysis on the team until the end of the season. So, I mean, not the end of the season, October 1st. I said I was going to hold my comments until October 1st. Has been getting a lot of backlash from people, and you would think that from the level of backlash that he receives, that his team is not 2-0. 2-1. His team is 2-1, but people magnify the losses over the wins, and the people that magnify the losses are usually not the people that are going to come back and praise you when you win. It's an interesting thing, and it kind of sucks, but shout out to Coach Ron. Shout out to my boy Mad Dog. Shout out to all the coaches over there on staff, all the players, the Rockledge program. They have been real receptive of PRMD, and I don't take that lightly. So shout out to them. Congrats on that dub. Astronaut last night, they played American Heritage from Delray Beach. Shout out to Coach Franco. That is Coach Franco's high school. Coach Franco went to American Heritage of Delray Beach. Astronaut was not able to pick up the dub, but they did play a hard-fought game last night. They ended up losing 21-10. 21-10. So my surprise of the week was Cocoa Beach. That was my surprise win of the week. My surprise loss of the week. My surprise loss of the week was Heritage. Heritage lost to Egali 21-0. Now, the problem with this for me personally is that I felt like they just should. I had such high hope. I talked Heritage up in such a way that it kind of offends me that I've been talking them up like that. Like the score offended me, not anything. Coach Benson, because Coach Benson was just on here. Those are my guys down there at Heritage. So salute to those guys. But I was disappointed because I just knew that they were going to put up a hard-fought game. For some reason or another, I have absolute faith in them giving Egali their best game. Egali is currently, by most media guesstimations or estimations, I'll say guesstimations, both of them, you know what I'm saying? By most media estimations in Brevard County, Egali is currently the number 2 team in the county. So this was a top 5 matchup between the two teams. Unfortunately, I've said multiple times that there's Cocoa at number 1, and then there's a Mississippi Mile. If you've ever been to the state of Mississippi, you understand what I'm saying. Mississippi Mile, and then it's Egali, and then some would say Merritt Island. Some would say Titusville. Some would say uh, Heritage. Some would say. So the top 5 changes based upon who you're asking and when you're asking them, because a lot of times what I'm seeing with people is that you'll ask them on the internet and they'll say one thing, but then you ask them in person and what they'll say will be completely different from what they said on the internet. You know what I'm saying? So Heritage is a top 5 team in my eyes. I think they got a lot of pieces. I just want to see them get consistency from the quarterback position. I believe that if they're able to find some consistency at the quarterback position this season, is still salvageable, because the reality is that yes, they've lost 2 games. They've lost to Sanford Seminole and they've also lost to Egali, but they have not lost the district game. So that's the most important part right now. But however, they do have a big game coming up next week against Cocoa, and that will not be an easy fight. And I was very vocal this summer in spaces, in Twitter spaces, saying how I felt like Heritage would give Cocoa its best game out of in-county teams. I still stick to that. We got to see what actually becomes of it when the game actually is played, and so we'll get to see that this week. Titusville, my boys at Titusville, man. We played West Orange this week. We got played Cocoa coming out the gate, and then we had a bye week. And after our bye week, we came out prepared for West Orange. We had a couple miscues, a couple. I really was impressed with AG this week. I felt like they were actually working to put the pieces together. I felt like they are turning the tide over, and I believe that they are confident in who they are becoming. And so what people don't understand is like, this is year 3 of the John Holmes era, but a lot of times I think that people fail to realize that we are really, like, even though we are in year 3 of the operation, we are a very young team. So we're still young, but we're putting it together, and we have a few seniors that are with us and have been with the program for a few years. And so a lot of times it appears like we're doing a lot more, but I said all that to say we need to give Coach Holmes the kudos, the flowers, all of that. I think that he is doing a Herculean job at using what he has and utilizing what he has and motivating his players. We missed 2 field goals. That was big. That's not usually Dean's Achilles heel, if you will. He doesn't really miss field goals much, but he missed 2 field goals that night, and I believe that it was the difference in the game. We ended up we were up 21-17, and the final score was 24-21. So we kind of fell short, but I really wish we were able to get that dub. I want to stay making sure that I stay motivating the players, not because I'm a coach or anything. I'm just a fan, but I really want to make sure that they maintain the focus and realize that this is not defining of the season. But we do have some hard games coming up. We'll play Vieira next week, and follow Vieira up with a game at Spruce Creek. We'll play Spruce Creek, and then we'll start district play with Egali. So that should be a good. Those next couple games will really be good games, and they'll really be season-defining games. Not in the win or loss column will they define the season, but I think we really just have to salvage what we're doing, make sure that we're putting the pieces together and getting those wins. Like I said, I really like what Coach Holmes is doing. He has the buy-in. I don't know if y'all were on here the first week when I interviewed Coach AG. I said Coach Holmes really motivated me when I had talked to him when he first got the job. And he was like, I was like, man, we were coming off a 0-10 season. And I was like, Coach Holmes, if you just win 3 games, man, we'll give you a key to the city. And he told me, he was like, man, I'm trying to go to the playoffs. And he did just that. And from that moment, I have been a believer in what Titusville is doing. I have been a believer in what John Holmes is doing. I've been a believer in the program, making sure that I've invested in the program. I'm a full supporter of the program. I really like what he's doing. I really like where they're going as a program. So salute to Coach Holmes. The Titusville guys, please don't hold your head down. They got the best of us, but I don't think that defines who we are as a team and where we're going as a team. Another game, Space Coast. Space Coast play Innovation Academy. They play Innovation Academy, and Space Coast was able to win the game 40-13. And right now, I don't know if you all have been paying attention, but I think that right now, let me make sure before I make this statement, because I want to make sure that I'm not actually saying something that's out of turn or wrong, or a lie. Yeah. So right now, Coach Jake Owens is 3-1. He has wins over Gateway, BCA, and Innovation, and he has in wins. He's outscored opponents 93-27. Once again, listen, y'all. Make sure y'all listen to this. They have outscored opponents in wins 93-27. They got a big game coming up next week versus Astronaut at Astronaut, but I don't think they should hold their head. No matter the outcome of that game, I think they are still treading upward. They only won one game last year. That was the state championship game of the SSA Independent League, and so. Salute to Coach Owens, salute to Coach Sandy, salute to all those guys over there. Salute to Chris, B-Wig, Zion. There's some more guys over there that I don't know, and I don't know by name, excuse me, but salute to that whole program. Christian Burns as well. So shout out to my guy. Christian Burns. So Space Coast is currently 3-1, and they're currently they're getting ready to play Astronaut, who let me see, Astronaut is currently 2-1. So if you're not careful, this might end up being the PRMD game of the week just off of default. So salute to Coach Owens. I like what he's doing over there. He came back from Kentucky and has been putting in work at Space Coast. So salute to Coach Owens. Bayside played Tradition Prep, and that was a part of the SSAA league as well. And Bayside got a 38-0 win last week. They had a hard-fought game versus Deltona. However, they came up short, and they are currently 2-1 in the SSA as well. And they lost 49-13 last week. They'll play Harmony next week, who's going to be coming off a loss to Sebastian River. So, and then they'll have a bye week, and then they'll play Astronaut. So it's going to be a nice few weeks coming up. last game, of course, we're gonna shout out the 8-man football. Merritt Island Christian got a win 48-6 over Eastland, and unfortunately, Calvary fell short of 68-12 in their 8-man game versus Shorecrest. The last game that we have to talk about is Cocoa versus IMG, and I wanted to make sure that as I talked about the Cocoa versus IMG game, I gave it its own individual segment because I've seen a lot and I've heard a lot on social media concerning the game, and I think the problem is that before the game in Spaces, I told them, I said that I didn't feel like IMG, no matter what happened in the IMG game, whether it was a win, whether it was a loss, I didn't think it in any way defined who they were as a team. I don't think that it hurt them in any way. I think it could only make them better. Excuse me. So what could happen? Let's talk about it. So if they won, everybody knows Cocoa now. If they won, they compete for a national championship. If they won, they're more likely finishing the regular season undefeated. Unfortunately, they didn't win. They lost 34-13. But here's the good part about it. They grew up as a team. They played the best team. They played the absolute best team that they'll play this year. They played some of the absolute best talent that they'll play this year. They played at one of the best facilities that they'll play at this year. And so I don't believe that there's anything to hold your head about. People have been critical of the game, but a lot of people that are critical of the game don't actually know how the little things work and the little things interline as it pertains to high school football. So you'll see, oh, they lost to IMG, but why they ain't saying nothing? I've heard a lot of things, but I really realized that there's levels and there's tiers, you know what I'm saying? And so understanding that, yes, Cocoa and IMG have the propensity and ability to be in the same tier. So they may be a part of the same tier, but they may be on different levels. And the reality is that Cocoa may get beat. They may have kids. They may get kids into their program. They may get a lot of transfers into their program. But the reality is that IMG gets to go and handpick kids and say, oh, I want you. 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 Let's go and let's assemble and let's be a team. And so I understand it. I get it. I can't actually respect it. But it is what it is. And so here's the thing. I really feel like we should be a little bit more gracious in how we deal with Cocoa and Cocoa losing this game. But here's the reality is that I think sometimes, as I said on the post, that some people just want to see that Goliath is human. And y'all put that in the comments. I don't really mean to preach, but some people just want to see that Goliath is human. They don't actually, they're not, you know what I'm saying? Like they're trolling because they are excited. It's not about the kids. It's not about your program. It's not about your coaches. We're not seeing any flaw in that. We're not saying anything is flawed about that. But I think people were just to be able to see Cocoa lose sometimes. Like sometimes you want to see it used to happen with Bama. It used to happen with Saban. It happens. People want to see people lose that have been consecutive. The Golden State Warriors, you see it all the time. If you watch a program for any or a program or organization, anything of that nature for any period of time, you'll begin to see that sometimes teams want other people to lose. Sometimes that happens, but I don't think that Any player from Coco should hold their head. I don't think that any coach from Coco should hold their head. I said that we wouldn't be critical in spaces of what Coco was doing. We wouldn't be critical of who they were as a team. We wouldn't let this define them as a team because this was not a regular program that they played. They played a preparatory school that is preparing players for college. And then I think it just showed that, yes, we can be in the same tier, but not be on the same level in that tier. And so understanding that, I think we should be a little bit more gracious in how, but there's no rules to trolling. So in reality, like, you want to be upset, you want to feel away, but you can't, like, there's no rules to trolling. So either way, I'm gonna say shout out to Coach Franco, shout out to Snyder, Coach Snyder, that staff. They wanted to in the scheduling process. They actually wanted to play Chaminade Madonna. That game ended up falling through, and as a result, they had to find a replacement. Anyone knows that if you're going to have to if you're going to find a replacement, your replacement should be of equal or greater caliber. A lot of people wanted to see Coco play Egali. Some people felt like they should have ran that game back. Coco didn't feel that way, and Coco felt like they need to play teams that would be preparing them for this tough gauntlet of a schedule that they had and the run that they're trying to go on, because they're trying to win their third state championship. And as a result, they schedule IMG. And I don't believe that them scheduling IMG in any way, shape, or form makes them insufficient. I don't think them losing that game makes them insufficient. I don't think they were thinking above who they are because they scheduled that game. I believe that this game is actually it's not defining of who they are. I think they learned a lot. I think they've come back a better team. I think they are growing up on the job. I think they are going to be better. I think we are witnessing. If you remember the LeBron's first rollout, when LeBron first came out, people said the Nike brand ran the Witness campaign on his branding behalf, and I think that we are seeing generational talent from Brady Hart. I want y'all to mark that down. I want y'all to make sure that y'all realize this. I am saying that Brady Hart is a generational talent. Like, I don't care what the stats show from Friday night. I don't care the fact that he threw 3 picks. Brady Hart is a generational talent. He is absolutely positively good at football. He does football well. He does it well. He does it great. He is good. Don't let these people fool y'all. Like, don't. If you are a young up and coming quarterback and you're not watching how Brady Hart approaches the game of football, then I don't know what to tell you, because that kid is absolutely good at football. And not for nothing, Javen Boggs has been balling as well. But I'm going to say this, and I believe that Coach Franco is going to agree. The dark horse, the most underrated player on that team is by far Nicholas Teeter. I like that kid. I like to see how he plays the game. I like the way he does the game. I like the way he plays receiver, and I like him as a talent. So salute to that kid, man. Nicholas Teeter, he's small in stature, but big in heart, and he plays the game the right way and does the little things correctly. So salute to him. Coco did lose that game, but I believe they're going to get back on track, and they're going to put it together. And what they did last week won't have any bearing on the rest of their season. So that's all I got for you this week. It's been week 3 of the wrap-up show of PRMD. This is all we have for you. Once again, shout out to our sponsor, All Around Extreme Handyman Services, owned and operated by Drake Hawkins. Phone number 321-501-0379. No job is too big or too small. I'll get the job done. That's a direct quote from Drake Hawkins. And if you need anything done, make sure you get at him. If you are not already, please subscribe to our YouTube page. Help us get our followers up. Like our Facebook page. Make sure you're following us on Instagram. Please stay plugged in on everything that we're doing. PRMD Media. It's another week. We had fun. It's been fun. I hope you all have a wonderful evening.